Tonight on CTV News at 11:30. Ready for reform.
The last thing you want to see is anybody incarcerated, but the reality is there are some that need to be dealt with and a little harsher.
Northern reaction to the news that Canada's bail system might get an overhaul. Plus, marking a milestone.
The community bought into what the vision was.
Dokis First Nation celebrates a decade as majority owner of a hydro dam. And think pink.
It's great. Like, your heart's pumping, everybody's happy, everybody's laughing.
An annual run for breast cancer research kicks off its campaign in North Bay.
CTV News at 11:30 with Ian Campbell and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Ian is off tonight. A 63-year-old cyclist has died after a collision in Sault Ste. Marie. It happened yesterday at the intersection of Wellington Street East and Kohler Street. A 22-year-old driver was involved in the crash and police are still investigating. An intense fire at the Great Pacific Mill in Anglehart yesterday saw crews from several neighboring communities called in to assist. The Anglehart and area fire department responded to a call around 5 in the morning to find a large pile of waste wood on fire. The wood pile was roughly 18 meters by 92 meters in size and had been designated to be chipped up as hog fuel or biofuel. The blaze was so intense, crews from Savard and Earlton Fire Services were called in and supplied an extra water tanker and established a water shuttle system. The cause of the blaze has not been determined. The Federation of Northern Ontario Municipalities is encouraged to hear the Prime Minister and Ontario Premier are signaling reforms to Canada's bail system may be on the horizon. FNOM's President and North Bay's Police Chief both shared their reactions with CTV's Lydia Chubak.
The Federation of Northern Ontario Municipalities says it's been lobbying the federal and provincial governments for bail reform for the past 4 years. FNOM says its members and police services have long raised concerns about the revolving door justice system that allows repeat offenders back into its communities. The Prime Minister and Ontario's Premier have recently stated reform is needed.
This government is committed to reforming the criminal code.
People are absolutely done with us. We have to change Young Offenders Act. We have to make sure we have bail reform, and we need mandatory sentences.
FNOM's leader says these words are encouraging.
We think it's a step in the right direction. The last thing you want to see is anybody incarcerated, but the reality is there are some that need to be dealt with and a little harsher.
Whalen says North Bay's Police Chief Daryl Longworth has been a strong participant in all of FNOM's meetings on the issue. Chief Longworth says if people are a danger in the community, they need to be kept apart from it.
If there's a risk that they're going to cause violence or wreak havoc in the community while they're awaiting trial, then they should be kept in custody.
And both Longworth and FNOM say if there is not enough capacity in jails, build more.
The provincial government and the federal government have to step up and do their part and make sure there's places for these people to go.
Until they are built, we continue to be burdened with the extra costs.
FNOM says it will follow up with the Prime Minister and the Premier to ensure they stay true to their words. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
Greater Sudbury Police released crime statistics from January 1st to August 27th for downtown. Compared to last year, officers made 31% more arrests than in 2024. That's almost 680 arrests in the downtown core. There was also an increase in calls for service compared to last year. Property-related crimes were up, while violent crimes were down. Notably, complaints related to homelessness, open drug use, and panhandling increased as well. The report highlights the complex social challenges facing the downtown community. To read more about the report, visit gsps.ca. An inquest into the death of David Gorley began today. Dr. James Kovacs will be the presiding officer and Peter Napier will be the inquest counsel. Gorley was 57 when he died on July 17, 2018 at Health Sciences North in Sudbury following an interaction with OPP officers 5 days earlier. On that day, emergency services received a call about a man who was running in and out of traffic on Bow Street in Parry Sound. Officers used a conductive energy weapon on his upper thigh twice. Following the incident, he was transported to hospital. The cause of death was due to cocaine toxicity. The inquest is expected to last 4 days and hear from about 4 witnesses. Dokis First Nation is celebrating a milestone, a decade as majority owner of a hydro dam. CTV's Eric Tashner reports.
Nestled on the French River in Dokis First Nation is the Oki-Kindwat Hydro Station, a project that was talked about for decades, but is now a reality.
The community bought into what the vision was.
It all started in 1986 when former Chief Martin Restoul-Ba wondered if a dam could be built within the First Nation, and quickly a partnership was struck between the Indigenous community and the former company Hydro-Mega.
I don't think this project would have happened if Hydro-Mega would not have been that true partner.
Dam construction began in 2013, and the station began operating 2 years later.
Switchgear you see right there.
Today, the $48 million 10-megawatt project ensures the lights turn on for 3,000 Ontario homes. Power producer First Light took over the project and decided to continue it after it purchased Hydro-Mega in 2023.
The electricity goes to the closest point of consumption, so we're really looking at, powering the area.
The First Nation community owns 40% of the project. 4 years ago, a trust was established to protect and manage the revenue that flowed in from the dam for community projects. As of this spring, the trust has approved 27 projects valued at $695,000.
Many of our communities want to be part of these projects early on and work towards mutually beneficial partnerships.
First Light says it wants to replicate the relationship it has with Dokis First Nation with other Indigenous communities as Ontario looks to expand its renewable energy sector through solar, wind, and battery storage projects.
It was one of the first partnerships in Ontario for First Nation and independent power producers. This is a perpetual asset. As long as we continue to put capital into it, we'll be generating power out of here for over 100 years.
In the next 30 years, we'll see this as a stepping stone of what is to become. We have looked at other projects in conjunction with First Light.
Hoping to continue a relationship for decades to come, a power surge that the First Nation community was looking for. Eric Tashner, CTV News, Dokis First Nation.
We have more for you tonight on the 16 hybrid wolf dogs in the Wanapitei area of Greater Sudbury. Today, their owner pled guilty in court of illegally possessing them. He also learned that the animals will not be euthanized. CTV's Alana Everson has more.
Brighton Bongard leaves Provincial Offences Court a happy man. Despite facing $5,500 in fines, he learned when his 16 hybrid wolf dogs are seized by the MNR from his property, they will be live released altogether in an accredited, authorized care facility.
I'm excited about that. I love how the ministry has handled it at the end, where they've finally come together, figured out a solution for my dogs, and all my dogs are going to keep together. My biggest concern was separating my dogs is that if you don't do it in a proper way, the depression will unfortunately hurt the dogs.
Bongard was in court Monday. After pleading guilty at an earlier appearance, he was fined for unlawfully keeping wildlife without authorization, making a false statement to a conservation officer, and the unlawful purchase of wildlife. It all started back in 2021 when a friend gave him 5 puppies and said they may have wolf in them.
I acknowledge I might have not done the right thing by not DNA testing my dog and knowing what I had. I completely plead guilty to that, not knowing what I had. At the same time, I knew there was going to have to be consequence to my actions.
The prosecutor declined an interview, but told the court although the animals have been seized by the MNR, they are under the care of Bongard until they are removed, and that their home has been found, and the relocation will happen within the next few months. No location was given.
I have not been guaranteed on a establishment. I have been told that it's in driving distance of Sudbury.
Bongard was also given 2 years probation, with one of his conditions prohibiting him from possessing wildlife once the hybrid wolf dogs are removed from his property. he still faces other charges under the Fish and Wildlife Conservation Act, which will be back before the courts in December. We reached out to the MNR, which says as the case continues to be before the courts, the ministry is unable to provide further comments. Alana Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
A bear cub found with gunshot wounds near Sault Ste. Marie is now on the mend. The actions of those at the Bear With Us Center for Bears and the National Wildlife Center mean that the young bear will survive the shot to the head. The 18-month-old bear was first brought to the Sprucedale Sanctuary June 8th after being captured by the Ministry of Natural Resources in Sault Ste. Marie. The bear was reportedly shot illegally along with its mother. 2 wildlife veterinarians saw the bear June 16th, realizing the cub would need time for its jaw to heal before it could be operated on. Last Friday, the pair performed an hour-long surgery to remove the roots of 2 shattered teeth as a result of the bullet wound. Dr. Sherry Cox says the bear will no longer be in pain and will now be able to live a normal life.
It has an excellent prognosis in terms of healing of that jaw and returning to full function. Bears do a lot with their lips. They're very tactile and very gentle. And so when they eat, that bear has plenty. It still has molars back there. It has its canines. It has its incisors. So that bear will do just fine in the wild from the jaw healing perspective.
Cox expects the cub will be released back into the wild in the coming weeks. There was a special committee meeting in North Bay tonight to hear presentations from a few city partners. Officials from the Jack Garland Airport, Police Services Board, and the Public Library shared highlights from the past year. Some of the successes at the airport includes a 6% increase in passengers in 2024, the first deployment of the International Tactical Training Center, and a record 350 participants at the Pull for United Way event. Meanwhile, the Police Services Board says it has increased recruitment efforts to hire 16 full-time civilians and 11 constables and conducted 168 hours of foot patrols downtown. Time now for a short break here on CTV News. Coming up, we'll have your full weather forecast. But for now, a look at the current conditions around the region. So some cloudy skies out there, some rain falling in Wawa. There is a rainfall warning in effect for Wawa. Some rain on the way definitely for Timmins tomorrow. Clear skies in Elliott Lake and Gore Bay and Perry Sound. Your full forecast coming up next.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
This week compared to last week is already looking better. Better temperatures, better conditions as you're about to see. Forecast radar, a little bit of rain in the forecast for tomorrow, 10 to 15 millimeters. In Timmins, Sault Ste. Marie, risk of a thunderstorm for tomorrow, but that will pass. As you are about to see, that will linger on until, well, early Wednesday, perhaps by midday, then things will get better. Let's have a look at your 7-day forecast. Sudbury Nickel-Bell, we've got sun and cloud, sunshine in Greater Sudbury without the chance of rain, 21, chance of showers Wednesday, Thursday, 18, sunshine. Friday, 20, sun and cloud. Chance of showers on Saturday, 21, and Sunday, sun and cloud also 20. That is above normal. Last week we were talking about below normal temperatures. Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, risk of a thunderstorm for tomorrow. Chance of showers at 60%. That's a pretty good bet. 40% chance on Wednesday. Then it gets better. Sunshine Thursday at 20. 21 Friday with the cloud cover. Saturday, chance of showers, 23. And Sunday, sun and cloud, 20. Again, that temperature above normal for this time of the year. Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing. Here we go with the rain tomorrow, 10 to 15 millimeters. Shower activity at 7. Only 3 on Wednesday, chance of showers. Then it starts to perk up. Thursday, sunshine at 4. Friday, cloud cover at 11. Then the chance of showers Saturday and Sunday, 10 and 15. Then, in a week's time, 23 with some sun and cloud. That's well above normal for this time of the year. Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake, chance of showers for a couple of days at 22 and 20. Change in temperature there. dropping down to 14 Thursday with the sunshine. Friday, sun and cloud at 21. Saturday, chance of showers at 20. And again, sun and cloud Sunday, 20, back up to 23 by Monday. How about North Bay, West Nipissing? Sunshine tomorrow at 22. Wednesday, 23, sun and cloud. Thursday, sunshine 17. Friday, sun and cloud at 20. Slight chance of showers at Saturday, 40% there at 20. Another 20-degree day on Sunday with the sun and cloud. But all in all, not a bad forecast for North Bay with no less than 4 consecutive days of sunshine. The break Saturday and more sunshine to come Sunday. So Amanda, stick around. The weather is getting warmer. Conditions are even better as well compared to what we experienced last week. Back to you.
Good to hear. Thanks, Rick. In this era of cash-strapped communities having to fix up aging infrastructure and facilities, a community group is taking the bull by the horns. At the end of summer, the Mindemoya Arena Repair Committee donated more than $23,000 for the repairs to the J.H. Burt Memorial Arena in Mindemoya. Money was raised by several means, including bottle drives, pancake suppers, and donations from the business community. It all started with a group of residents who petitioned council to step up and fix the facility. They saw a need and volunteered to fundraise.
We really hope that the municipality of Central Manitoulin is taking note of the incredible outpouring of support that we've had for our beautiful old arena, and that they continue to work with us and do the right thing and keep it open for business.
And Ford says they're not done yet. There is a lot of work to be done to get the arena into tip-top shape. 2 organizations in Sudbury are joining forces to help support more women in the community. We get details from CTV's Angela Gemmel.
The new interim executive director of SWC meets with a board member to bring herself up to speed on the organization and what a new partnership with Spark Employment Services will mean.
What I hope to bring to the role is really just that guidance and that support, being able to connect with both board of directors and really grow both agencies.
SWC, formerly the Sudbury Women's Centre, provides access to basic needs, resources, services, and education for women and gender diverse individuals in Sudbury.
Both organizations serve a very similar clientele. Being able to be in the position of leader of both organizations, there will be more opportunities for us to bring the resources together and for us to be able to refer between each other very seamlessly.
We are expanding our resources as well, and having Chantal Makala as the interim executive director with her track record of amazing leadership as a CEO of Spark, I think it will increase the growth of our leadership team as well as the long-term sustainability of the organization.
Despite having one leader in 2 roles, both organizations say they're fully committed to their respective clients and will remain 2 separate agencies.
However, this will give us opportunity for us to come together and work collaboratively together, whether that be on programming, whether that be on future grant applications. This is really a new innovative way of us to sort of deliver our services and to structure both organizations. So there's a lot more to explore and more new to identify.
Makala says SWC wants to create a hub model, essentially a one-stop shop for clients in need of support. Makala adds she's hopeful her leadership can grow both agencies and move them a step closer to this goal. Angela Gemmel, CTV News, Sudbury.
Science North in Sudbury is reimagining leadership development with Leading Blue, an immersive experience that builds better leaders through skill building, strategy, and self-awareness. Hosted at the Science Center, this half or full day retreat helps organizations cultivate leaders who think strategically, act with purpose, and lead with confidence. According to stats from Science North, 57% of employees leave because of their manager, and only 11% of managers are formally trained to lead.
With those kind of gaps, the need just continues to be really great in the community, and we really feel that this new tailored leadership development program that we have can completely fill that gap and bring real value to the community and its leaders. We've tailored this new program for any number of different businesses across our region. Could be small, could be medium, could be large size, and it's tailored toward, I would say, people that have generally been in management positions for 0 to 2 years, so new and up and coming leaders.
The program is led by Science North's Senior Manager of Learning and Development, Liz Ott, who has delivered results-driven programs for clients such as Scotiabank and leading academic institutions, including McMaster University. This weekend, the 2nd Battalion of the Irish Regiment marched through Greater Sudbury as a reminder of history and the significance of the regiment here in the city. CTV's Madison Merrier has more.
On Saturday, many saw the 2nd Battalion of the Irish Regiment march through the streets with bayonets fixed, colors flying, and drums beating.
Goes back to the War of the Roses back in England, and when armies used to attack castles. So it goes from like that, and we still carry on that tradition today. It's obviously we're not attacking castles or anything, but just to have that support from the city, that they know who we are, we know who they are, and we work together.
It's a huge part of showing our regiment, but also vice versa, our regiment showing the community our commitment to it.
The parade marched to Tom Davies Square, where Lieutenant Colonel Langdon knocked on the door and was granted freedom of the city.
We wanted to honor that and to welcome and to just reiterate the relationship between the regiment and the city of Greater Sudbury, and the importance of the value that we place in the men and women that serve and that live in our community.
In our city right now, we currently have serving members over in Latvia, and again, our community should recognize that we do have members locally that are willing to go and serve on our behalf.
The parade took place 1 month before the group's 110th anniversary and the 60th year of being stationed in Sudbury. This permission has been granted to the regiment 3 times since they moved to Sudbury from Toronto in 1965.
They threatened to shut the regiment down, and instead of them shutting it down, the former captain, who was a senior magistrate here in Sudbury, said, I don't want my regiment to shut down. So he ended up, him and a few other people were involved in bringing the regiment up to Sudbury.
This weekend also saw a change in command as Lieutenant Colonel Tracy East, who took over as Deputy Commanding Officer after the parade, also became the new Lieutenant Colonel of the 2nd Battalion of the Irish Regiment here in Sudbury and the Algonquin Regiment from North Bay and Timmins. Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
Still ahead tonight on CTV News. It's time to lace up and run for a cure. We're just days away from the 45th Terry Fox Run. The annual CIBC Run for the Cure for Breast Cancer Research is in a few weeks. And today in North Bay, it was the launch of the campaign. The Run for the Cure is in its 21st year and will be taking place on Sunday, October 5th. Statistics show 1 in every 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer. North Bay officials say registration and donation numbers are up, and on September 9th and 10th, CIBC will be matching dollar-for-dollar donations up to $500,000.
It's great. Like, your heart's pumping, everybody's happy, everybody's laughing. It's a good thing. There's the wall, people write things on it and different things like that. So everybody's, they all enjoy it.
So there are opportunities for people to take chemo at home through a tablet. Treatment has definitely changed and improved, and the Canadian Cancer Society does fund projects like Wheels of Hope, so they're getting you to your cancer treatment.
Last year's run saw over 46,000 people participate from coast to coast. And finally for us tonight, we're just days away from one of the biggest running and fundraising events of the year. Millions will be lacing up their sneakers this weekend to raise money for cancer research in the name of Terry Fox. And that includes thousands of runners here in Northern Ontario. This year will mark the 45th anniversary of the event. Officials say it's particularly special here in northeastern Ontario, where Terry spent a lot of his time while undertaking the Marathon of Hope.
And then, of course, the very poignant end to his run in Thunder Bay. So
I like to think that there's a real connection there. People who saw him and remember him, and now, of course, are helping teach their children and their grandchildren that story as well.
There will be dozens of events from one end of the region to the other. And that takes us to the end of our newscast. Thanks for watching. Good night.